Believe it.
I'm sorry. There's literally, I've tried 5 times. That's why I'm walking around to make the
Why
call.
is the president not taking your call?
Because it's not going through.
Build.
Hey there, Patriots. This is True Outlaw Patriot coming at you with another one. The video that I'm putting together tonight is a continuation of the last video I put out of all the fires that are happening in LA, in California, Palisades, and supposedly the fire is beginning to move more and more and more. But there's been a lot of devastation where they're saying that so far is up to about $50 billion worth of damage. Okay. This little clip that I showed you, I'm going to be, just fair warning, I'm going to be bouncing around different clips, putting stuff together, okay, so I can show you guys a little more of what's going on. But that beginning clip, okay, was Gavin Newsome, and I don't understand this man's thinking. I'm going to go back just a little bit, all right, I'm going to play it again. By the way, this clip I'm getting is from the Channel Hustle. He owns the Channel Hustle, bitch. So if you guys want to go and show him some love, I'm going to be bouncing around some of his content and some other content that I came across. And one very, it's a very interesting clip that I came across on X that has to do with the mayor of LA. We'll get to that as we go, but just some quick context. This clip right here, the full clip, okay, which is only about an extra maybe 10 seconds, 15 seconds, shows this woman right here running towards Gavin Newsome's car, I guess his brigade or car, his vehicle, I guess it is. I know there was like a Secret Service or one of his bodyguards, one of his goons, whatever the hell the case is. But so he's on the phone, or supposedly trying to be on the phone. She runs up, and this is the interaction when she gets up, because there's a cameraman running with her, which I found to be very strange. Okay, but just pay attention again, listen to what he says, and look at his actions using the phone. Okay, check it out.
Answer the question of what we can do for you and your daughter.
Can I hear it? Can I hear your call? Because I don't believe it.
I'm sorry. There's literally, I've tried 5 times. That's why I'm walking around to make the call.
Why is the president?
You know, I'm not trying to put anybody down, but this is almost a very comedic scene, okay? And I say that because it's almost something out of a comedy where, let's just take a comedy skit. Somebody's on the phone and somebody comes over. Who are you talking to? Oh, it's so-and-so. Oh, let me talk to them. Oops, sorry, they just hung up. It's almost comedic of what he just did, okay, to this person with his phone, saying that he was on the phone with the president. She goes, can I hear him? And then he looks at the phone and says, oh, well, you know, that's the whole thing. I've been trying to get in contact with him. So which one is it? Were you on the phone with him? Were you doing a photo op before that lady ran up on you? Is all this staged to get sympathy from people? I mean, I don't know. Okay? I don't know. All I know is that Gavin Newsome, okay, and the mainstream media have already flipped the script, trying to blame all this. Number one, Gavin Newsome is trying to put the blame on everybody else but his incompetence and the incompetence of the mayor and anybody else that's in charge in California, in this area in California. Okay. Another news outlet, and it's starting to spread, trying to put the blame on Donald Trump. Okay. And there's an article that I'm going to read, and I'll show you why they say they're trying to put the blame on Donald Trump, which is just mind-boggling to me. Okay, because when the fires in Lahaina happened, they never went there with Donald Trump. Okay, not one time that I could recall that they went and tried to put that blame on Donald Trump. But now it seems that since Donald Trump called out Gavin Newsome, saying that, you know what, he basically went up to Gavin Newsome years ago and tried to put policies in place so that Gavin Newsome could implement them into the safety of California. And Gavin Newsom basically put him down. Okay? We got this, we got this, we got this, we don't need your help. But now that, as of yesterday, I believe they said, like 50% of the Palisades is gone. Up to 3 hours ago that I was checking media, they're still fighting the fires because the fires keep bouncing and keeps moving and moving and moving. Okay, but that's not what the left wants people to know. They are trying to pinpoint. They're trying to blame all this on everybody else and every other excuse other than the fact that they were ill prepared because of their own ignorance and their own incompetence. Okay? Knowing very well that the warnings were there, because this is not a one-off. Did it happen all of a sudden? Yes, and that's still going to be suspect for a very long time. But this is not the first time that California has dealt with wildfires. And the reason why they always have a problem with their wildfires is because of the leftist policies that are in place. Number one, okay, is a policy where they regulate water. They'll just as much as take every taxpayer's dollar. They'll take all the money from the rich. They'll take all the money from the poor. But when it comes to them saying, you know what? The people have spoken. This is what they want. It's like, no, you guys don't need to take more than one shower a day. You guys don't need reservoirs full of water. You guys don't need us to build facilities, okay, at the bottom of a mountain that keeps dropping water and they keep diverting it into the ocean, okay, because they want to save a fish or a species of fish. So what's the next best thing to do? Blame climate change on it, blame Donald Trump on it, blame the citizens on it. And reminiscent, just like Lahaina, okay, the ones that are in charge, the ones that are supposed to be in charge of everybody's safety from the weather, from people committing crimes, just from anything. You are entrusted to protect the people from whatever problems. Nope. We're doing our job. You guys can't say nothing. Shut up. Give us your money. And when something happens, even though we get all the red flags, even though everybody voices their concerns, we're going to tell everybody to just shut up like the good little paupers that you are. Okay? Because our plan is that when it happens, and we know it's going to happen, we're just going to divert the problem to somebody else. We're going to divert the excuses and pin all these problems on somebody else. It's always going to be, okay, that the ones that are in charge take no accountability, are not to blame. Everybody and everything else is. Okay? But before I continue, don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe, pass the channel around. And if you can help support the channel, there's a link in my description to my Cash App and my merch store. So with that being said, the next clip I'm going to show you, okay, is you heard what Newsom said here, okay? I'm going to show some of one clip of how he's basically telling everybody what needs to be done, what can be done, and now all of a sudden he basically is inviting Donald Trump, okay, to go check out the devastation. And my question is, why are you inviting Donald Trump to check out what happened and what is going on when Donald Trump warned you years ago? Okay? Even gave you a plan and said, we can or you can do this, and this. You ignored it. And now you want him to come and check it out. Check out all the damage. And I don't want anybody to take this the wrong way. Okay? Everybody knows my content, my channel. I don't care. Everybody knows that I I lean right, and that's the way it's going to be no matter what. But when it comes to Americans and American safety, I push all that to the side, because when it comes to life, especially human life, is precious. And when it comes to people being affected through devastation, whatever the case is, I'm not looking at the victims on what side they are. I'm looking at that they're victims. Okay? But one thing that really bothers me about all this is that there is so much content out there on the media, on the regular mainstream media, content creators that are putting this sad story together, and all they keep showing is nothing but rich millionaire and billionaire celebrities. Okay? And it's like 24 hours. Now, I covered a lot of content from Lahaina. If anybody was with my channel last year up until early this year, okay? They didn't put this much emphasis on the people in Lahaina. They really haven't even put this much emphasis on people that have been suffering the past few months in the Carolinas. Okay? If anybody's been paying attention. But all of a sudden, the rich and shameless, okay, who, by the way, not that I wish they were home, but at least 90% of them weren't home, so the death count is down. Thank God for that. But they weren't home because they were too busy off living their, living their glamorous millionaire lives in their second, third, maybe fourth homes, okay? Probably in France, probably in Madagascar, Europe, wherever. And it's like, now they got these fundraisers going on, and they want everybody to feel bad, and we should feel bad, because nobody should have to go through this. But Gavin Newsome's over here saying, it's going to cost us a lot of money to rebuild, and I'm thinking, it's going to cost who a lot of money to rebuild? Because he's already talking about getting help. And it's like, help for who? These people are rich enough. Now, are there going to be some spots where, it's not, affluent and, predominantly rich? Yeah, of course. If you're talking about gathering money to help them, yeah. But when it comes to all these people that lost all these multi-million-dollar homes, they have the money to fix up their own. Okay? Now, if I come off a little harsh on saying it like that, I'm sorry, but it's just the truth. It's the truth, because, like I said, where is the constant help for the people in Lahaina? Where is the help for the people in the Carolinas? I was told by somebody in Lahaina on the ground, okay, in Hawaii, that so far all they have built is 4 homes. That's it. As far as the Carolinas, we can barely get a peep of what's going on to the people in North Carolina. But Gavin Newsom all of a sudden wants to invite Trump to come check it out, and he's asking for help. Look, last I checked, supposedly, California is the 5th richest state and city, or whatever the case is, in the world. I don't think, in all honesty, celebrities should be asking just regular people for help when they all have fat bank accounts and they have other homes to go to. At least 99% of them do. But with that being said, let's continue. Here we go.
Palisades fire has grown to more than 21,000 acres. It is only 8% contained as firefighters continue to battle dry conditions.
With more than 5,000 homes and structures lost, it is the 4th most destructive wildfire in California history. Meanwhile, we're following reports of looting in the area. We're also learning why a nearby reservoir, a crucial resource, could not be used in the firefight. So let's go live to Eyewitness News reporter Josh Haskell, live in Pacific Palisades. Josh?
Yeah, David and Colleen, it has been a desperate scene here all day. We are at the final checkpoint to get into Pacific Palisades. Take a look. Residents are trying to get in, but you need a police escort. They are being turned away. Most are. But first, I do want to play a video that I received earlier from a friend that was recorded on his home Ring camera. His family is evacuated, but it was a surprise recording from a firefighter who's in place in his driveway for structure protection.
Hello, I don't know if you can see this, but we're the City of Orange Fire Department. We're assigned for protection, what we call full patrol of your neighborhood. So we'll be roaming around probably the whole next 24 hours, make sure nothing flares up, so we can protect your property.
Now take a look at this line of cars on Sunset Boulevard at one of the 3 checkpoints. Now, residents have been lining up to see if they still have a home and retrieve their belongings. The Palisades fire is the 4th most destructive fire in California.
Look at the devastation of this, people. Look at all this that has been burnt. It's incredible. It is totally incredible that that fire can cause this much devastation. I mean, you know, you have to wonder, you have to look at this and say, you know what? You live in a state that is prone to forest fires. There's nothing new. Since I was a kid, you heard about California always having forest fires. Okay? Places getting burned down and they turn it off. I mean, it's like non-stop, year after year after year. In all honesty, how it continues to grow as far as the greenery with all the forest fires, how it tends to grow so quickly is beyond me. Okay, but that's a different story. Nature has a way of replenishing itself, and quickly in many instances. But it's like you are in charge of a state that you know this is prone to happen. This is going to happen. What policies did you put in place that you've learned after the last couple of fires, okay, that you didn't put into place now? And the answer to that, in my opinion, is none. Okay? None whatsoever. They still keep on with pointing fingers. They still keep on with holding back water on the people. They still keep on with their Green New Deal policies, just squeezing the lifeblood out of people in California. And then all of a sudden, here we are. I mean, just to look at this one picture right here. I mean, these are not trees. These are houses. These are rows and rows and rows of houses. Just like in Lahaina. And what really, really baffles me out of a lot of things, you know, from this whole scenario, is that they are on the mainland. Okay? They could do a lot more on the mainland than the people probably could have done in Lahaina. But they could do a hell of a lot more. And for whatever leftist agenda reason, they didn't. They haven't. Okay? And this is what winds up happening. Incredible.
California history, the devastation catastrophic, as it really feels that over 50% of the town of Pacific Palisades is gone. The fire is currently at 8% containment. Now, it's burned over 21,000 acres. 5,316 structures have been destroyed, and over 3,000 firefighters are assigned. Air support has helped a great deal, but as we've been reporting, one of the 2 LA County super scoopers assigned to the Palisades fire was hit by a drone and has been taken out of service until Monday.
Oh, that's great.
The current red flag warning ends tonight, and another one will start Monday. Here's what Mayor Bass said today, and also we interviewed a resident of Pacific Palisades whose home was looted.
I want the residents of Los Angeles region to have faith in what we are doing 24 hours a day. I can say on behalf of our first responders, from the fire department, the police department. We are doing everything we can to bring the situation under control, and success has been reported.
We saw about 3 guys go in. They were wearing what you'd see like people wear during COVID, just like a hoodie and the normal mask. And essentially they just went in and they took a lot of things. They didn't take any photos, like sentimental things. Those are still there, but we did have a good amount of cash in there. We had watches, most importantly clothes, a lot of nice clothes, designer things.
Now, Aiden and his family are under a mandatory evacuation, and although firefighters saved their home, they now have to deal with looting. Now, they told me they feel betrayed by the city. Also, the Santa Ynez Reservoir, which holds 117 million gallons of water, is currently closed because of repairs to its cover, and it could not be used during the Palisades fire, although it is located in the middle of the Palisades, in the Palisades.
Look at that. Look at that. Because of poor management, okay, for whatever policies, whoever's in charge, you have this reservoir that is that should have been totally full, 117 million gallons of water that they could have used right near the fire, and because of whatever it is that they're fixing, couldn't be used. Okay? Some people may say, well, it was unfortunate this happened while they were under construction. No, it is poor management. Okay? The governor and the mayors of California, okay, are too busy trying to push so many different agendas, okay? Even up until recent, I put it on my last video where they're over here trying to pull, get court cases against Donald Trump, instead of them focusing on the important stuff like maybe a speedy build on this reservoir. No, they're too busy trying to do other things in California that don't benefit the populace, just a small fringe minority of people, okay, where this reservoir couldn't have been built on time, because you would think if the reservoir is down, we are in a season where there's going to be fires, we need to speed this up. Nope. Not how it's done. On top of the fact that they're building no facilities to collect all the water that's coming down from the mountains where they can have in more reserves. Nope, can't do that because of a fish. Wow.
Highlands, and some believe it would have really helped. Governor Newsome has ordered a probe as to why that reservoir was offline. Now, there is no...
He wants to run a probe onto why that reservoir was offline. Really? Like, you didn't know? Like, you're the governor. You are supposed to know, and you are supposed to hire people beneath you to stay on track, to stay on top of all these things that are going on. And you see what I'm saying, people? Is just like, he's now it's gonna cost more taxpayer money to start an investigation and find out why that reservoir was offline. Like, you didn't know it was offline beforehand? What are you, just dishing out money for like projects and not keeping track of the projects that are going on? It's incredible. It is totally, totally incredible. Let's get to the next video clip. Here we go.
With us now, owner and executive chairman of the Los Angeles Times, Dr. Soon Shiong, Dr. Patrick Soon Shiong, whose paper just today released an explosive investigative report on how ill-prepared Los Angeles was for these devastating wildfires. They report, quoting now, Pacific Palisades Reservoir was offline and empty when the firestorm exploded. It's good to see you, sir. Thank you. Never is local news reporting and important reporting needed more in times like this. When your team of reporters brought you this, that the reservoir was offline and empty, what was your response?
That it's so crazy that we have leaders that are reactive rather than proactive. I mean, it really emphasizes what I tweeted yesterday about issues of competence. And I think that's when we're really concerned. We don't elect people with great operational competence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in short, that's called DEI hires, in case anybody doesn't understand where he's coming from. You know, you're going to see what this man has to say okay? And it's going to blow your mind of how there are people in California that are basically trying to put information out, but they get shut down. Listen to what this man has to say. It's pretty interesting. Check this out.
It's never when one thing goes wrong, it's when multiple things goes wrong. We argued last night that what we are seeing is not a failure, but is a success of policies, that the policies that were put in place have led to these events. Mm-hmm. Is that pretty much how you see it as well?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about it, right, there's really no surprise that we would have fires. In fact, we lived through a fire just a couple of years ago. So the idea that, for example, we don't create fire breaks, we actually reduce the budget. We actually don't inspect the hydrants. Apparently there's another, we'll be doing this investigation of a valve that could have increased the pressure, the absence of water in the reservoirs. Now you hear all these excuses, and I just heard this excuse about disinformation. I mean, I think that's outrageous when you have thousands of acres burning and 10 people are dead, so at least. So yes, I think the policies were misplaced. We have to ask our questions, where are we spending the money and why? And what is the sort of planning and the logistics skill sets of actually preparing ahead for this?
And I'm going to throw my 2 cents into this. He has a good point there, but he's speaking truth. Okay. Supposedly the mayor to L.A. The woman down here, yeah, that's her right there, had cut about $12 million from the fire department budget. Okay. If anybody remembers, okay, and I bring this up because of some news that I found out yesterday. We all know that in Chicago, they did the same thing. They cut off certain budgeting to the fire department and supposedly, I believe, the police department. Same thing in New York. They cut funding to certain things in the fire department and the police department. And the reason why I bring this up is because supposedly, okay, I'm going to throw the Easter egg out there so everybody can do their own research. But supposedly, through the Biden administration and their plan, one of their plans to implement, okay, especially in the blue cities, was to take money out the fire department funds so they can allocate to give to the illegal migrants. So this wasn't just something that these mayors or governors decided to do on their own. No, it was actually a Biden, I'm not going to say mandate, it was a Biden plan. Okay, supposedly that's what one of the things they were going to do in order to help out the situation with the illegal migrants, was to go to as many cities as they could and have them allocate money from the fire department, whatever division, whatever, they felt where they could take money from, so they can turn it over and just help out illegal migrants. Think about that, people. Like I said, I'm throwing the Easter egg out there. Do the research. It's out there. Okay? Because there is no way you're going to tell me that in all these blue states, okay, and the blue cities, with the crime alone, okay, that justifies, just so they can help, that they are justified taking money, for taxpayer money that is supposed to go to more security and more protection, okay, that's okay to take that and give it to people that came here illegally. And then when something happens, they're going to go back to the federal government and say, we need money, more taxpayer money. I've been saying it from the beginning. Okay, I've been saying it for months, since last year. This has been one big money laundering scheme. Okay, and whether you're rich or poor, whether you're a celebrity or not, we wind up getting situations like this, where things that should have been fixed in working condition, things that should have been put in place, are not, because of policies.
$20 billion spent by Governor Newsome on the homeless problem, if you will, their projects in California. The homeless rates went up. I say this respectfully because the best defense against incompetence and these kinds of policies is local news, is tough reporting and asking hard questions and not buying into the policies, certainly not of one-party rule, either Republican or Democrat. Is you're now looking back at how the LA Times operated, say, over the past 5 or 6 years, are you seeing that you all miss stories as well?
Well, you know, I got into a little trouble, as I sort of pointed out, prior to the election when I blocked, apparently, accordingly, blocked the endorsement of Vice President or President-elect or President who wanted to be Kamala Harris. And I think what we have really was a state and now even a organization that was very progressive. And again, I'll get into trouble for that, where we have basically groupthink.
At the paper.
At the paper, at the opinion section, and so I needed to have really what I call critical thought, and to sort of bring it. Now with this event, we really must investigate, and that's really the basis of the paper, speaking truth to power, and really investigating the root cause of all these issues and making sure that this doesn't happen again.
Thanks for watching.
Okay, so you seen that, you heard that, okay? So because he blocked endorsing Kamala Harris, basically, he got in trouble, like he said. And what in my opinion, what he's basically saying is that they want to go out and put out the truth, but no, they get blocked because of groupthink, because the way they want to do their way, do things their way, the leftist agenda their way, their policies, and what winds up happening? You wind up hiring people that don't deserve the job. Like I said, all those DEI hires. You wind up having a governor that's incompetent, a mayor that's incompetent, people that are supposed to be in charge incompetent, and when you wind up having a devastating tragedy like this, whatever the case is, it's like right away they want to go and push the blame on other things, when the whole time it's your fault. Okay? And then on top of that, you'll wind up having the mainstream media, news clippings, whatever the case is, go and blame it on somebody that wanted to give help to Gavin Newsom, and Gavin Newsom said no. Again, that's reminiscent to when Donald Trump wanted to help, I believe it was Rahm Emanuel in Chicago, the mayor at the time, years ago, because of all the crime. And Donald Trump offered to send in like the National Guard or something to say, listen, let's send some people into Chicago so we can cool everything down and we can pick up the pieces. Nope, we got it. That was back then in 2016, 2017. Here we are years later, and the crime is still running rampant in Chicago. Okay? The chaos with the illegal migrants is still running rampant in Chicago. You go to California now, they're taking $20 billion to allocate to the homeless fund, and it's still nothing but homeless people doing drugs and stuff like that, living out on the street. So where did that money go? Then you get the mayor and goes and allocates money from the fire department, sends it somewhere else, okay, to help out the illegal migrants again. And they don't have the money to have a reservoir fixed up in a timely fashion, so like that they can have those reserves, and or taking $5 billion at least of that so-called homeless shelter fund, okay, and build machinery that could divert water from the mountains. No, they can't do that. They just can't do that. And so much for taking $20 billion to help out the homeless in California. If anybody knows, a lot of the homeless that they're talking about is not necessarily, in my opinion, the American homeless people. It's all the illegals that have nowhere to go. If anybody remembers, California is giving money to illegals that are homeless to buy houses, giving them money for rent and all that. But instead of them taking all that money and say, listen, we live in a state where just, for instance, just the crime alone, we need more resources. No, they won't do that. We live in a state where we're going to get potential fires. We need to make sure that we can take care of that. Nope, we can't do that. All their leftist agenda policies has done nothing but hurt the taxpayer. Like I said, whether you're rich or poor, celebrity or not, all it has done is hurt them. Because the homeless are still homeless out in California, the drug addicts are still out there doing drugs in California, and the illegal migrants are still out there sucking off the teat, okay, of the taxpayers. And then the ones that pay the taxes, they're hung out to dry. And now Gavin Newsom wants to go and say, I want to speak to Trump. I invite him to come here, and we got to get in contact with Biden and the government and local officials. We got to get money together. We got to start rebuilding. On whose dime? On whose dime? And why? Because it's your policies that made this possible. Okay? Just like the policies in Chicago, just like the policies in Colorado, in New York, in Oregon, you name it, just like Donald Trump says, whatever the Democrats touch turns to shit. Okay? But no, they want to go and blame everything on everybody else, on every other cause but their own. I'm going to minimize this. I'm going to read you this article that I came across that I just thought it was just horrible. Okay? They're saying Los Angeles is on fire, and big oil are the arsonists. This is by The Guardian. Okay? I'm telling you, you can't make this up. Okay? It says apocalyptic flames and smoke are raging through Southern California in the worst fire in Los Angeles County history. At least 7 people have died, thousands of structures have been destroyed, hundreds of thousands of people have fled their homes. The private forecaster AccuWeather estimates initial damage and economic loss at more than $50 billion and has the potential to be, the costliest wildfire disaster in American history. Okay? Let me put my power on. Hold on. Okay, in American history. It says the impacts of the disruption and loss faced by community members is incalculable. While some media outlets are discussing the link between the Los Angeles fire and the climate crisis, here we go, they're trying to blame it on the climate. Listen, if you want to talk about the climate saying that it's getting too hot or too cold, okay, fine. Keep it, eat it, do whatever you want with it, okay? But when was the last time anybody seen fire raining from the sky? I mean, they keep talking about climate change, climate change, climate change. Like I said in my last video, if you care so much about climate change, that climate change is going to start causing more hurricanes, more snowstorms, more forest fires, okay? Why aren't you putting money to the side to combat these forest fires, to build the facilities to combat these forest fires? Why don't you have money on the side so you can bail people out when you have a bad snowstorm, when you're going to have a hurricane, whatever the case is? They keep talking about climate change, but they collect billions upon freaking billions of dollars, and they do nothing to put policies into place to combat these acts of God, they want to call it, acts of Mother Nature, all these things that the weather, all these catastrophes that the weather is producing. Why? Because they line their pockets, they launder the money, they put the money into stupid ass projects, okay? They fund the illegals by the millions coming in, but yet they want to go and blame it on climate change first and then everybody else second. And then vice versa. They'll blame it on Trump because he's a climate change denier, okay? As if Trump could control the weather now. As if Trump could have controlled that fire, either started or put it off in California. It's incredible the way these people think. Here we go. The president-elect Donald Trump and right-wing media are using this devastating event to foster misinformation, including denying the role of climate crisis. You see? Nothing to do with Gavin Newsom getting that reservoir fixed that held 117 million gallons of water, nothing to do with that. Okay? Nothing to do with the fact of the mayor in California, in Los Angeles, taking money out the fire department fund to go house more illegal immigrants. Nothing to do with that. These powerful interests are ignoring what is fanning wildfire flames, fossil fuel driven climate change, and trying to deflect attention elsewhere. This is not surprising, denying science and promoting false narratives squarely falls within the playbook of the fossil fuel industry and its proponents. Take, for example, Trump calling the climate crisis a hoax and once again threatening to withdraw the U.S. from the Paris Agreement. Why are you trying to divert? First of all, nobody even knows how the fire started in California. That's number one. Let's just get that off the table now. Okay? Because we don't know. Because I haven't heard it. Nobody is actually saying how the fires started. Okay? There's reports out there of people starting fires, but there's no proof if they started them before or during or even now, if there's people out there doing. But they have caught people out there. As a matter of fact, one of my subscribers said, I believe she said her daughter, okay, the Ring camera on her house was still recording, and she could see that there was people across the street starting fires. Okay? I'm hoping that I could probably get a copy of that video if it's out there, or if that's the case, make a copy, turn it into the police, whatever the case is. Okay, but are there people out there that are going to try to capitalize off of this and just keep causing more fires? Yes, of course. Okay? There are such things as people as arsonists and people that want to commit fraud. But I digress on that. Okay? But it's like, you don't even know what caused this fire, and right away you're going to go and say climate change, the climate crisis, Donald Trump and his rhetoric, far right media, far right-wing media. It's like, why are you blaming? You're saying that Trump is trying. What do you say here? While some media outlets are discussing the link between the Los Angeles fire and the climate crisis, the president-elect Donald Trump and right-wing media are using this devastating event to foster misinformation. How can you say they're using this to foster misinformation? What misinformation are they fostering? You are diverting from the truth, or what or truth that we don't even know exists yet. You're diverting it, putting the blame on Trump, as if Trump, it doesn't matter how much Trump, how much anybody wants to think otherwise about the situation, thinking about it and talking about it does not start a fire. Okay? And if you people on the left, okay, you mainstream media on the left, think that people on the right are fostering misinformation, shouldn't that give you more power and more ambition to prove us wrong and take that money and build things? Okay, like, I don't know, a reservoir that can hold 117 million gallons of freaking water? A water station at the bottom of a mountain that is just dropping water by the millions of gallons and harbor and foster all that water? So you know what? When a fire shows up, you can put it out and say, we did this, because you climate deniers, you won't even do that. But you'll keep putting out stories saying that everybody, Donald Trump and everybody on the right, are putting on misinformation. Okay, and it gets better, this article, people. It's only at like a 3-minute read, but it gets better. Because they're also going to blame it on the oil industry. Okay? But these people on the left, these freaking minions, they make it seem as if people don't have eyes to read, a brain to think. And a lot of them don't, because they're going to go along with it. Okay? People on their side are going to go along with it. Anything to blame the orange man, that they like to call him. Instead of pointing the finger at the people on their own team, no, we got to blame everybody else. But we're fighting because we're afraid of climate change. But you're doing nothing at all to combat climate change. billions upon billions upon billions of dollars over the past 10, 20 years. Okay? And nothing is being built to combat it. You're taking more money away from resources like fire departments. Okay? You're letting in more people into the country. Okay? To fill up neighborhoods, which now it becomes more of a risk factor, because now there's more people you need to evacuate. You're building more structures. What are you using to build that? More materials, more flammable materials. Think about that. You people try to be so damn self-righteous and pious, okay, while projecting everything on the other side, and yet it's because of your policies, okay, taking away to give more people stuff just to fill in areas, and now you don't have the money to take care of the people that paid into it. Now you got less money because you brought more people into it. Incredible. Where was I? Okay, these powerful interests are ignoring what is fanning wildfire flames. Fossil fuel-driven climate change, and trying to deflect attention elsewhere. This is not surprising. Denying science and promoting false narratives squarely falls within the playbook of the fossil fuel industry and its proponents. Take, for example, Trump calling the climate crisis a hoax, and once again threatening to withdraw the U.S. from the Paris Agreement, which is the Paris Accord Agreement, whatever. It says oil, gas, and coal companies have been lying to us for decades. A 2015 investigation by Inside Climate News revealed that ExxonMobil's own scientists knew as early as the 1970s that burning fossil fuels would cause global warming and increase the likelihood of extreme weather events. Instead of pivoting toward cleaner energy solutions, Exxon and other major players funded misinformation campaigns to sow doubt about climate science and delaying action and worsening the crisis. Again, they're just going to keep going. Let's just make this article nothing about us, nothing about the incompetence of the people that we hired, none of that, nothing about the money that's being taken that should have been allocated to at least combat this on a higher level. No, let's just spin it all back, turn it around, blame it on everybody else but our damn selves. Okay? But then if a Republican does it, they demand that they take responsibility and that they are held accountable. Okay? California is part of a growing number of states and local government challenges. California is part of a growing number of states and local governments challenging these lies through litigation. It's ridiculous. It really is. The legal suits against 6 oil companies and the American Petroleum Institute accuses them of deceiving the public. Really? Of deceiving the public. Okay. Regarding the connection between fossil fuels and climate crisis and profiting from the deception. The aim of the litigation is to redirect those profits into funds to address the damage of climate crisis on California. The litigation is still underway. Let me tell you something. California is not the only state in this country, around the world, okay, that has a wilderness, okay, that they have to be careful about. Okay? Let's just take, for instance, Seattle. Okay? Washington State. They have immense forestry. Immense forestry. Okay? Has anybody really heard of wildfires breaking out in Seattle all the time? No. You know why? I'll tell you why. Seattle is a very wet, dank, moist place. Think about that. Other countries have chimed into this fire. Okay, they have chimed into this. Countries that have thick forestry, dense forest. Okay? And you know what they say? We maintain the forest, all the dry shrubs, everything that's dry, we maintain it. We groom it so like that we don't have forest fires. Only in California and only in freaking California. Do they fail time and time and time again? And it's not that they fail. They don't care to. All that money to tout yourself to be the richest state, or in the top 5 richest states or cities in the world, you don't care to take that money and take care of all the forestry in California. And even if they decided to, the next excuse is going to be, we don't have the manpower. Then it's going to be an excuse after an excuse after an excuse. Okay? Just think about that. Never mind the other countries that take pride in what they do. Just think about Seattle, Washington. Why don't they have forest fires? Because everything is wet all the time. You got all this water coming off the mountains in California. Okay? You got reservoirs. You can build reservoirs. You can take all this money. You claim to be a very beautiful state, and I'm sure it is. Why are you wasting money on other people that have come here illegally? I'm not even going to ask why you're laundering money to line your own pockets, because that's what crooks do anyway. That's what criminals do. But on top of all that, you're going to go and try to blame all this on somebody else? Blame it on Trump? Blame it on the oil companies? They're blaming this on the oil companies because California wants to go green by 2030, 35. They want to get rid of all the petroleum, all the oil, all the gas, and go electric. They think people are stupid. Okay? Because they're beholden to China. They want all the batteries. They want everything electrical because it will do nothing to make the people's lives in California better. It'll just enrich all these crooked, leftist, communist, okay, socialist, Marxist traitors to this country. Plain and simple. And some rhinos. Or all the rhinos, I should say. Okay? You can maintain California if you take that money and do what you're supposed to be doing it with it. But no, can't do that. Let me continue and let's finish this off. It says, where it says, the science is clear. Wildfires are getting worse due to climate crisis as a result of increased temperatures and drier conditions in Southern California. While more work needs to be done to determine the specific role fossil fuels played in the Los Angeles fires, we do know that emissions from the world's 88 largest fossil fuel companies are responsible for 37% of the cumulative area burned by forest fires in the western U.S. and southwestern Canada between 1986 and 2021. Me personally, I haven't done the research on this, but I'm just going to call bullshit on it. Right off the bat, I'm going to call bullshit on it, okay? Ethically, the responsibility is undeniable. By continuing to expand production, fossil fuel companies are prioritizing short-term profits over long-term planetary survival. First of all, if you people believe, like you say, okay, if you believe that evolution got us here, that the planet's been around for billions of years, it sounds like you don't have faith in the planet. It sounds like you're trying to save the planet. Only in America do they push this. Meanwhile, okay, if you go online, there are many live cameras from different parts of the world where they have like 24-hour feeds. Beautiful islands, beautiful parts of different countries. Okay? I don't see no climate change problems there. Why is it that when they talk about climate change and the climate crisis and they're trying to save the planet, it's just focused in America? As if America is the whole planet. Meanwhile, these celebrities are getting on their damn private jets, flying off, like I said before earlier in the video. Thank God that a lot of them weren't home because they're too busy, traveling abroad in their other houses, in Spain, in Paris, wherever it is that they got houses at. Okay, the Bahamas. I mean, it doesn't matter. So they're flying around. Everybody in Hollywood is flying around back and forth in their stretch limos, in their expensive 812-cylinder Mercedes-Benz or, you know, sports cars, whatever, just eating up fossil fuel, eating it up. And where are most of the fires happening? In California. But they want to blame all of America and all of the world and Donald Trump saying, and the far right-wing media, that we're climate change, you know, climate crisis deniers, whatever, and this is why it's happening. So all those planes flying back and forth, everybody filming movies and music videos and having meetings and all this and going to the Golden Globe Awards and all this, all that flying back and forth. That doesn't add to it. That doesn't, you know, contribute to it. No. You just want to destroy all that? Destroy that narrative? That doesn't exist? No, they don't do that. Who is it? Leonardo DiCaprio, that's always flying around in his private jet, going to different parts of the planet, talking about climate change, while his plane is guzzling up thousands of gallons of fuel every year. One man. Right. Okay. Where was I? Okay, the California governor Gavin Newsome is one of the small yet growing number of political leaders around the globe calling out fossil fuels for their role in climate crisis and generating health and environmental risk. You know, if he's one of them, I'd like to know then what was his take when he went to China. Okay, excuse me. For whatever reason, he went out to China. I like to know if he took a tour of China, because everybody knows that China is the largest producer of goods on the planet. From your cell phone, TV, sneakers, clothes, you name it, they're building it. They're nothing but a factory country. I wonder if he had a talk with Xi Jinping in China when he went there about, you know, not using fossil fuels to fuel all those factories to make all the goods that they spread all around the world. Something tells me he didn't. You know why? Because he's full of shit. That's why. Let me continue. Sorry. Where was I? Crisis, generating health and environmental risk. In fact, he has called oil, gas, and coal the pollution heart of the climate crisis, and has enhanced new laws to limit their expansion and phase them out. Cities across California are joining him. Los Angeles, which has oil production within its jurisdiction, has banned new oil and gas drilling and committed to phasing out the use of coal and gas in its infrastructures, among other efforts. You know, just this right here sounds very suspect. And I'm going to finish off, people, because the video is kind of lengthy. But it's funny how this fire is in Los Angeles. And Los Angeles, I'll read it again, okay? It says the pollution heart, the polluting heart of the climate crisis, and has enacted new laws to limit their expansion and phase them out. Cities across California are joining him. Los Angeles, which has oil production within its jurisdiction, has banned new oil and gas drilling. It sounds to me, okay, we can go down the rabbit hole. You can take this with a grain of salt. It's just my opinion. Sounds to me, whether you're rich or poor, they are pushing this climate agenda by hook or by crook. Okay? He's talking about rebuilding Los Angeles now. They got to rebuild it. You've seen the devastation. How are they going to do that? How are they going to build all those homes? What are they going to use? Electricity to build all those homes? Yeah, that's part of it. But what else are they going to be using? They're going to be using fossil fuels to generate electricity. They're going to be using fossil fuels to get the materials that they need. It just makes no sense. For this man to be playing both sides of the fence, we know that he's only really playing one side. He's pretending to play both sides of the fence. Okay? And yet they want to point the finger at everybody else, say that everybody else is the problem, when the real problem is them. Again, the left projecting on everyone else when they're the cause of the problem. They're the cause of the problem, and they know they're the cause of the problem, but yet they want to come like they're the knight in shining armor on their white horse. We're going to save everybody. No, you caused the problem. It's because of you that we have problems. People are not stupid. You're not coming in on that white horse anymore. Plain and simple. There is nothing you're going to do. And the people in California, which I'm probably only speaking to a handful, okay? And if anybody in California watches this video and you're still with me this long, join the channel if you're not. But this man needs to be voted out. They're already talking about doing a recount against the mayor. Okay? Look into her past. As a matter of fact, right quickly, before I end it, we'll leave this article at this. Before I end it, I'm going to play this quick 3-minute video. Here's some information about the mayor, okay, in Los Angeles, the mayor that should have been there, but she wasn't. Listen to this. I won't interrupt.
November 7, 1983. Remember this date, but first, let me introduce you to Karen Bass. Back in the 1970s, community activist Karen Bass went on at least 15 trips to Cuba, many with a group known as the Venceremos Brigade, a Marxist group started by the Castro regime to subvert American interests, weaken democracies, and spread communism around the world. Founded in 1969, the Venceremos Brigade organized trips to Cuba every year for half a century. They attracted the most radicalized and delusional segments of the American left, including overtly Maoist and pro-Soviet communist groups. In fact, a Los Angeles police investigator who infiltrated the group testified to Congress saying that to be a member of the brigade, you had to be confirmed as a Marxist-Leninist, as a brigadista, and then moving up the ranks to organizer for the Venceremos Brigade. Karen Bass visited Cuba every 6 months. Their mission? To radicalize young, impressionable American leftists in terrorist tactics and guerrilla warfare. Members of the Venceremos Brigade were even taught how to make bombs.
Jesus Christ!
Karen Bass admits, on her many pilgrimages to Cuba, she went to see Fidel Castro speak several times, even calling him charismatic, and upon his death, praised him, saying, "The passing of Commandant en Jefe is a great loss to the people of Cuba, even though the people of Cuba see him as a dictator who impoverished their island." Another group, the M19, took its belief in revolutionary anti-imperialism to extremes, violent extremes. The M19 was the first and only women-created and women-led domestic terrorist group. Since their founding in 1978, M19's tactics escalated from robbing armored trucks and abetting prison breaks to building their own explosives and carrying out terrorist bombings. From 1983 to 1984, M19 bombed an FBI office, the Israel Aircraft Industries building, the South African consulate in New York, DC's Fort McNair, and Navy Yard, which they bombed twice. But that wasn't enough for them. On the night of November 7, 1983, the M19 called the US Capitol switchboard and warned them to evacuate the building. Minutes later, the M19 bombed the north wing of the US Capitol. November 7, 2023 marks 40 years since the M19's bombing of the US Capitol. Members of the M19, like Susan Rosenberg, traveled to Cuba with and were radicalized by the Venceremos Brigade. The South Los Angeles Venceremos Brigade was led by Karen Bass, who is now mayor of Los Angeles.
There you go. Now, some people may say, well, what does that got to do with anything? Now there's talk that said that she denounced all that, okay? She has nothing to do with that anymore. It's a possibility. It's a possibility. But my point is this, okay? If you watch my last video, okay, what did I say about what these people do? Okay? You control the resources, you control the people. Who is controlling the resources? The number one resource that is vital to California, the water. Who is controlling that? The governor. Who took from the fire department to allocate to give to other people that came here illegally? the mayor. Need I say more? And you're going to have your shills that are going to try to spin this around and blame people like Trump, far-right media, whatever the case is, climate change deniers, yada, yada, yada. But yet, they're the ones that are in charge that can make things easier and save lives. But because of their ways, their policies, okay, their groupthink, like you heard that that gentleman speaking, that owns the what was it, LA Times, that it's all groupthink. They all think the same. Kamala Harris is from California. We all know that her mother was a socialist. Okay? I think she is too, but we'll leave it at that. So what does California have running? They have a bunch of liberal, socialist, communist, Marxist traitors. Not only to California, but to this country. Plain and simple. Instead of them putting the people that voted them in first, no, they put everybody else first and then put the blame when things get out of hand, things get uncontrollable, they put the blame on other people, on somebody else, on some other situation. And they take no accountability. Just like Castro, just like Mao, just like Stalin, all of them. They caused the destruction and put the blame on somebody else. This is all my opinion, people. Do with this information what you will. Take it with a grain of salt. Pass it around. Do some more research, which rightly so you should. Okay? And I looked at a little, just one more little thing. Forgive me, I looked at a little article here. Let me see, is it still here? No thanks. This is a picture of her right here with Castro. Is LA Mayor Karen Bass still a communist? I'm not even going to read it because for sake of time. But this was put out by American Refugees, the Roger Simon Cheryl Longin Substack. Okay? The struggle continues. Okay? This is a picture of her and Castro. Could it be cropped? Who knows? I don't know. Do your research. Check it out. Okay? But what happened in LA shouldn't have happened. Are there innocent people that can't afford to rebuild that should get help? Yes. As far as helping the celebrities, look, man, if I have to honestly say so, my opinion on that is no. And not in a mean way. It's just that they have the billions upon billions of dollars and the connections in order to rebuild. Okay? Now, are they going to let people rebuild? Okay? That's going to be another question, which only time will tell. We'll see. And I'll stay on this story as it goes. This isn't over. We still have to find out what was the initial cause of this fire. Plain and simple. But anyway, that's what I got for you. Don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe, pass the channel around. And if you can help support the channel, there's a link in my description to my Cash App and my merch store. So remember, people, stay vigilant. Keep praying for each other. Keep praying for the women and the children. Pray for this country. Pray for your enemies. Pray for Donald Trump. And pray for the people in Los Angeles. Peace. And actually, for the people in Lahaina and the people in North Carolina also. Peace.